Hey guys, Ryan Dossey, and in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through a niche that most real estate investors are neglecting, and it's stupid simple. I've personally made over 150,000 bucks doing this. Let me show you how. Let's dive right in. If you're like most real estate investors, you're probably utilizing direct mail or cold calling or some sort of outbound prospecting in order to generate deals. Me personally, my favorites are direct mail. It's our most consistent and predictable, followed closely by radio. That's a new one for us, but we're really enjoying kind of the quality of those leads. I'm all about adding value to you guys. My little kid came out this morning, saw the new haircut, told me I look like a new man. So I'm gonna just help you guys out. Whether you use my direct mail company or not, I'm gonna help you get better results out of all of your direct mail, but I'm also gonna show you a new niche that you should probably add in. Now, a little bit of a secret. We've done some of this in the past. This is just kind of like a version 2.0 and some things I'm doing in my own real estate company that I haven't shared with you guys yet. So Ballpoint Marketing has these apartment postcards that we've used that we've done very, very well on. I've dropped more posts and case studies and example on those than I can really care to count. And what we realized is that by calling out the kind of property the person has, we're able to generate a higher response rate. I personally don't do a ton of vacant land, but for our guys that do, it was heavily requested. We generated specific postcards calling out vacant land. What I'm proposing is that you do the same thing, but with condos and with townhouses. Now, a couple years back, I actually bought a package of 5 townhouses from one seller, all in the same complex. We did one, went on to the next, onto the next, onto the next. On that entire package, we netted over $30,000 in actual profit after all expenses on each one. We netted over 150,000 bucks just on condos in an area where condos are like not super sexy or fancy. I think each one of these sold for like 150,000 bucks, if my memory serves correctly. Why I think this is such a great niche, if you're in PropStream and you select, for instance, residential, most people are just picking single family. Same thing, if you're in DealMachine and you go to select property type, most people are just picking single family. If I honestly look at what I've even done with my own marketing, the vast majority of it has gone to single family houses, duplexes, triplexes, and quads. I haven't really made an intentional effort in the past to call out specific asset classes. But if we think about it, who is most often buying townhouses? It's working professionals, right? When they change jobs or get promoted or get married and the family starts to grow, they're gonna sell that place. Now, I personally love flipping condos because all of the exterior stuff is handled for me. I'm not worried about the roof or the foundation or exterior painting or trim work. Now, one pro tip here, you do wanna make sure the association that you're buying in is well capitalized. If they're out of money, that stuff is never gonna get done. I think when a lot of us think condos, we think the like super sexy, modern floor to ceiling glass, like beautiful walk-in places. A lot of the condos that we did were not dissimilar from like apartments. Now, I have my own custom postcards designed for my brand from Ballpoint, some of these specific asset classes, but I'm actually gonna ping our designer and product team and see if I can get a condo / townhouse specific postcard that I'll link to on this video whenever it's done. It's probably gonna take me about a week. Now, before I dive into my computer and show you how to pull both of these lists, I do just want to clarify kind of the difference between the condos and the townhouses. So typically with a condo, all of kind of the exterior stuff is handled for you. Your responsibility is kind of like what's inside the box, right? So you're responsible for like your kitchens, your bathrooms, that sort of stuff, but you're not on the hook for things like the roof or for things like water main or those kinds of issues. You're kind of on the hook for it. Like if your condo association can't afford it, they're just going to slap you with a special assessment. But in theory, it's their responsibility because you pay your dues, not yours. Townhouses, on the other hand, it's more like a single family house that you just happen to share walls. So like your roof is your problem. Your exterior is your problem. Your sewer and water lines in and out of the property are your problem. So just a little bit of a like differentiator there. One other perk with condos is that they're often more affordable than their single family counterparts. So if you're an investor who doesn't have a ton of cash, for instance, we've done some condo flips up in Carmel, Indiana, which tends to be on the more expensive side, but these were very much like starter home price point and below. One kind of last thing before I just show you how to pull the lists is make sure you read the C, and R's, basically their rules and regulations. Sometimes they might have things about like you have to be an owner occupant or you can't quickly in and exit the property or Airbnb it or that kind of stuff. Personally, I don't love condos or townhouses for rental properties due to the special assessments, condo dues, and the HOA fees. Like even if you own that place free and clear, it's never costing you nothing just to sit on it. We did have a gentleman in CCF that bought a couple condos that were in South Florida that were in like a 55 and up community. So his dad actually helped him with the process, and those were quite a bit harder to sell. So keep in mind, there's going to be more buyers for a conventional single family pretty much all day, every day, unless you're in like downtown Miami or something, right? The fewer buyers that you have for a project, typically the harder it's going to be to sell, and you're going to want to account for things like additional holding time or pricing it slightly below what the market's trading at. So in his instance, he had a little bit of an uphill battle because it was seniors, plus you had to be over 55, plus there was a ton of inventory in that complex. So people had a lot of options and there wasn't a lot of people buying them. Without further ado, here's how to pull them. So we're going to hop into PropStream and DealMachine. I'm going to show you guys both because you guys liked that on the last video that we ran. With both of these, you're always going to start by just kind of entering your market location in this top area. So I'm going to do Indianapolis, Indiana. And then I'm going to go down to value and equity. I always do a equity of 35 to 100%. So, I mean, I guess you can't have more than 100% equity. So a minimum of 35 will get you there. I'm going to go back up to the property type and I'm going to select condos and townhouses. Now, it probably makes sense when you're in here to also put some sort of a minimum and maximum. We've actually run into some condos in Indianapolis that were just like too cheap. The condo association was broke. The buildings were in severe disrepair, like boarded up units, and you couldn't possibly remodel the place and sell it and even break even. So you probably want to set some sort of a floor on there as well as some sort of a maximum, right? I'm probably not going to touch a condo in Indianapolis that's over 300,000 because that's quite a bit over kind of that average price point that I would expect there. On that list, I've got 12,675, so that tracks, but we can narrow this down in other ways. So one thing that I typically do, I'll go into owner information and I'll go into owner type, and I'm going to focus on the individuals and the trusts. So that right there dropped us roughly 2,000 records. On top of that, I'm going to put a maximum number of properties or units they can own at 3. That drops us down to about 9,900, roughly 10K. On something like this, if you've never done it, you're probably not targeting a metro of 1 million people, which is what Indianapolis is. You could focus on something like, hey, just give me owners that are out of state. In this instance, we'd be mailing everybody that owns a condo that's in that price point that has equity, which might not be what you want. So you could focus, for instance, on ones that aren't owner occupied. These are somebody else's rental property. Remember what I said, often these aren't fun to own as rentals because the fees and the dues and the insurance and everything just keeps climbing and it's kind of out of your control. So this might be a great list to hit, 1,036 of them, relatively cheap. See what you get. Let's hop over into DealMachine. I'm going to show you real quickly how to pull the same thing. So under this property drop down, we're going to do condo. If you were trying to follow along on my PropStream one, I realized I maybe moved a little quick, so you might have to kind of pause. So I'll go a little slower on this one. Price, I'm going to set kind of the same filtering here. One thing that's worth noting, PropStream and DealMachine get their data from the same provider, but how they interpret that data is different. So you're going to get different counts, even if you pull the same list in both. It's often a kind of a big complaint that I hear. Just kind of is what it is. Personally, there's about 8 bulk lists that I'm pulling, and I'm pulling 7 of those in PropStream, and I'm pulling seniors in DealMachine. So that's kind of just personally, I'm paying for and using both. All right, we're going to add in a equity filter now. So under equity and value, equity percent is greater than 35. For this example, I'm going to do ones that happen to be senior owned. So just kind of another potential niche list we could slap on this asset class. That is one thing that we can kind of point out here. Like any list you were pulling on single family, you can do on condos. So expired or vacant or inherited or any of that. Quick filters, I'm going to hit scroll down here to seniors. And we've got 5,331 of those. Just to make sure we're getting the individually owned ones, I'm going to throw owner in the search here. And corporate owned, I'm going to say no. So that dropped us down about 1,000 records. I'm also going to make sure we don't have somebody that has just like a ton of them. Is less than 3. And we can see that we've got rolling, 4,117 of them. So those are 2 niche lists I could hit on condos with a postcard, custom designed to condos, calling out that we're a condo buyer, untapped niche in a lot of markets. So all I would do here is click on build list and then download that file. If I was in PropStream, I'd check this list for all, do add to list, name it, go over into my properties, click that list and click export. It's no secret that the real estate market has gotten more competitive. It's also no secret that rates are higher, so folks might be less likely to sell. But condos are a niche that most of us haven't really played with or marketed to heavily. If you're in an area that has like A, B, and C class condos, I think this is definitely worth trying out. Now, it is worth pointing out that I own Ballpoint if you're new to the channel here. So that product I'm going to link to, if you use that, we get paid. Appreciate that. Second thing is I am an affiliate of both PropStream and DealMachine. However, these are both tools that I've used for like 5+ years. I'm personally paying for them. They don't just like comp my membership, and I'm actively generating profits utilizing both. I'll never recommend something to you guys that I'm not personally using. If you're looking for something new to try, let me know in the comments if you're going to give condos a shot. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and happy condo hunting in 2025.